Hirsi Ali, an outspoken critic of Islam, to receive an honorary degree at its commencement next month. Well, Brandeis caved to pressure from Muslim groups like CARE. CARE's continuing to attack Ali, but now students on the campus of Brandeis are lashing out. Here are some of the students very disappointed in the university's decision.
CARE is an organization that doesn't seem to enjoy hearing competing philosophies and perspectives. And academia is meant to serve as the hub of enlightenment, as the venue where we have an exchange of ideas. To go ahead and rescind its invitation to Ms. Hirsi Ali is despicable. Perhaps our administration at Brandeis doesn't seem to care or respect the First Amendment, but we as students do.
All right, Bob, so you heard for the first time actual students at Brandeis unhappy with the university's decision. Why do you think other universities haven't seized on the opportunity to invite her or honor her? I would if I was at
I think that's a very good point. But the thing I want to know is how many people are as outraged as this student is, and they should be. The idea, I'm still baffled by what Brandeis did. Of all things, a school with a long history of studies in Judaism. If anybody's been oppressed, it's been Jews, and by radical Islamists. And the idea, if you listen to what she said she was going to say, that we read her speech, and she said the motto of Brandeis University is truth, even unto its innermost parts. Well, if that's your motto, what she's doing is telling the truth. And you just, for any split, explain yourselves. Just explain yourselves. Be clear of the ducking, and you're ducking, and you're looking ridiculous, and you're looking like cowards.
Dana, this continues to be a story because today the Wall Street Journal published excerpts from what she would have said at Brandeis. And one line that I don't see how anyone can disagree with is, she says, "I stand before you who is someone not afraid to ask difficult questions about women's rights and girls' basic rights globally." What can intelligentsia or the academics disagree with on that?
I think that CARE ought to rethink its communication strategy and its policies, because what they have done is taken a university that no one pretty much heard of, with a woman that was going to get an award that no one's heard of, and they have turned it into a multi-day story, and now we all know Hirsi Ali's name, and we should. I think it's amazing just how this has backfired on CARE. Now it's all across the board. Everyone knows this story. I also think, I'm curious about the question you asked about why doesn't another university pick it up. And they might, but I think it's interesting from a university standpoint that Brandeis is actually, it's not being seen as one to itself. It is being seen as representative of the university culture and the whole left. The whole left. And you know what I mean, though, that all the universities, like, they're all hands off of Hirsi Ali. Why? I think that that's an interesting thing, and maybe you'll see someone come out next week, but from her standpoint, I think she has actually achieved more through being the target of CARE's ire than she was if she was going to get the award and no one would have heard about it.
What do you think it is, Eric? Do you think it is fear? Is it liberalism and maybe sympathy for Islam and for CARE, or is it just plain fear?
No, I think it's twofold. I think Brandeis, they folded because they were afraid about being called Islamophobic. So they did because CARE was pushing out. I need to point something out, though. CARE, yesterday we were talking about CARE. You know, they act like the Muslim mafia. 2 minutes after we call them out for their heavy-handed tactics and their intimidating universities and businesses, I get an email from that idiot, Ibrahim Hooper, their chief spokesman for CARE, saying, "Why do you continue to lie? Why do I continue to lie?" I'm just talking. I literally pulled up the facts from Brandeis from 2007, where they said they were concerned about a comment she made in 2007. That's all I did. I said, I think it has little to do with what she said and a lot to do with CARE's heavy-handed tactics, mob-like tactics on the university. And so, Ibrahim Hooper, you can stop lying. How's that?
Tom, in her remarks, she cites so many examples of how Islam treats women, denigrates them, disrespects them, and she also quotes the motto of Brandeis University, which is ironically, truth even unto its innermost parts. What about her remarks are untrue?
Well, that's the thing, and more people are going to see these than they ever would have if she just spoke to the university. But I think, Dana, the interesting thing is I don't think CARE cares about the PR win on this particular story. They want to put the word out there so universities know not to hire people like this to speak at all. If they can scare them, because who's more cowardly than a university administration? And because of this controversy,
inside as she's actually delivering the statement? Are they so blind to the criticism that they don't even recognize it? If I could just mention one other thing. You asked about where are the other universities? Where are the women's groups?
That's it.
Because this is another thing that Ali writes about in that op-ed today. Talk about 20 years ago, not even the bleakest pessimist would have anticipated all that has gone wrong in the part of the world where I grew up. After so many victories for feminism in the West, no one could have predicted that women's basic human rights would actually be reduced in so many countries as the 20th century gave way to the 21st. And what have we done the last several years in the United States? We have just this week, we complained about the dry cleaning bills of women compared to men in the United States. I actually feel as an educated woman in America that I have a responsibility to help women around the world to achieve at least the basic rights so that they too then hopefully one day can debate the gender gap of paying for your dry cleaning.
Well, and we've also talked a lot about not just equal pay, but access to contraception. And that was the entire campaign theme of this last administration, right? We've been talking about women's sex lives. All we do is focus on women's sex lives and how they need to have choices, reproductive choices, and have these freedoms. This woman, and I asked this yesterday, where are, not just now, Dana, but Hollywood celebrities like Sandra Fluck, who has become a celebrity, the Lena Dunhams? This woman, if you want the real truth, suffered genital mutilation. Her pleasure is gone. Where are all the women in Hollywood
Where's the miniseries?
rallying for her sexual pleasure? That's what I would like.
Where's the miniseries?
Where are all the liberal Democrats who were squarely behind Sandra Fluck a year and a half ago saying, look, this is a Republican war on women? Well, okay, so now here we are. We're calling out CARE. We're calling out Brandeis University. We're on this side of the aisle saying this has got to stop. This is wrong. Where are they?
Well,
Why aren't they trying to...
Excuse me for a second. I stand right here with
Well,
you. There's a lot of liberals who are upset about
Yeah?
this. And they are.
Yeah?
Yes.
Wait. Who?
Well, I mean, have they now
No, no.
should have spoken up?
Who?
Listen, not only now. Listen, let me give you another
But
example.
my point was...
Obama should have said something about that.
That's what
He
my
should have
point
called
is.
her.
Exactly what I just said.
President Obama.
Where's that whole... I'm sorry.
I was going to say, President Obama should have called her, not Sandra Fluck.
Well, he certainly should have called it, but he certainly had an opportunity. He has an opportunity. Maybe he's going to do it. But if I were in this administration right now, I would stand up and say this because, first of all, they've always been this question about how much they favor Muslims or Islamists and all that. This is a way to get it dealt with very quickly. Slam these guys.
Who?
Slam
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Obama.
Thank you.
Yeah, and not only that, I'd investigate
Let's get Tom in here. Tom, they're also administration that claims that they're in favor of gay rights. Brandeis University has said, I'm sorry, but this woman does not resonate with Brandeis' core values. I would ask Brandeis, do you agree, do you support a religion that is anti-gay?
Well, that's
No?
I mean, this is the contradiction of everyone on the left when they're confronted with people like her. She is such a good spokesman. She's lived it, you know. She's like, she can walk the walk, she can talk the talk, and she's been on the scene for years now, and you never see her. You know, the media does not want her story to get out there because she is so articulate and she's so powerful of a speaker. If you ever see her speak, it's amazing.
You know, I have one other point. I haven't seen many Republicans stand up on Capitol Hill and say anything about this either. I mean, I think both political.
You know what they
That
did?
is true. That is true. I mean, everyone is uncomfortable. She makes everyone uncomfortable.
She doesn't make me uncomfortable, but you know what should make CARE uncomfortable? I think we should all start calling them for what they are, racist. As soon as you call them racist, then everybody will start coming down on
Very
them.
quickly.
We call them intolerant. They are first of all, the Islamists, not the Muslim religion, but the Islamist radicalism, the most intolerant people on the planet by far, bar none.
Very quickly, you asked the question, who could possibly attack her? Isn't she the perfect spokeswoman to tell the story of oppression? Dana, you talked about CARE's communication strategy. CARE keeps responding. Listen to this soundbite of the leader of CARE attacking Ali now.
We're used to having these kind of hate-filled smears, but again, 20 years, the most public Muslim organization in the nation. Please find something that CARE has done or said in those 20 years that you find either extreme, objectionable, intolerant, whatever. Every day we're defending the Constitution from people like Hirsi Ali, who would change the Constitution so that Muslims wouldn't have civil rights.
You better understand
As an
this
example
fellow,
of
right?
something offensive.
That's
Great
right.
CARE.
But he better understand. We haven't heard you and CARE say anything positive or against radical Islamists. That you sit there and say we're attacking you all the time. Well, get out and attack the people that are causing this thing, and you don't do it
says, find out, is that guy nuts because he sounds so bizarre. I'm going to give them one other piece of PR advice. When you have a microphone on, you don't have to yell.
Also, is it good for them to be attacking the victim, the woman?
Yeah, it's so unheard of. I mean, if you look at some of the things that she was calling attention to, some of the atrocities against Muslim women, why are they not on her side? I don't get it. Okay, so she has an opinion about the bigger picture of the Muslim faith. Actually, she says Islam. She doesn't say Muslim, she says Islam. So she has an opinion, and they're very offended by it. But they can't separate the two. They can never separate the issues. If she has a negative opinion about Islam, it doesn't matter if women are getting beaten or mutilated. They don't care.
If CARE doesn't come up to the side and side with her, it means they agree
I was
with
just
people
going
who
to say,
oppose it.
didn't they just, with that soundbite, Tom, and I'll give you the final word, didn't they just prove our point that they're anti-woman by that comment?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, they can't defend a lot of what happens in Islam, so they just want to ignore it. And that's why, I mean, a lot of people just want this issue to go away. So you will not hear the Obama administration speak up for her. They want it to go away.
Get some guts, Karen.
All
Get
right,
some
next,
guts.
new developments on that